Stanley, mostly page 69 and 70, but starting from the bottom of 68. Redzard's father, Paddy, made the most wonderful timber boxcars, which they would race over the bumpy ground in Grand Prix Formula One style. In winter, when the marsh was covered over with ice and snow, the boxcars were replaced by toboggans. In reality, these toboggans were milk crates, but to Redzard and Stanley, they were Winter Olympic standard bobsleighs in which they fought for gold and silver medal placings. Redzard's father had cleverly fixed some old tires onto the branches of mature trees using strong ropes. These sturdy, homemade swings provided hours of magical fun. Stanley, however, had to be constantly reminded not to jump off in mid-flight, bearing in mind the disastrous results of his Tarzan swinging PE games. Invariably, Stanley would arrive home from the marsh covered in mud and grass from head to toe. As he washed before joining us for dinner, a practice he detested, but one upon which we insisted, he would shout stories from the bathroom, full of bubbling excitement concerning the day's adventures. Again, as we ate, we did so to the tune of Stanley and his action-packed day at the marsh. One evening, however, I noticed that he wasn't as full of chat as usual. He also appeared to be quite restless. This usually spelt trouble. Stanley was obviously nervous about something. I noticed that instead of bolting down his dinner as usual, in about 5 overloaded forkfuls, he merely picked and poked at his food. He seemed totally uninterested in his meal. This was not at all like my son. Something terrible must have happened. Or maybe it was about to happen. Burr and I ate in silence as we waited. Tired of waiting, I eventually gave in. "What's the matter, Stanley?" I asked calmly. "Nothing, Dad," he replied. "Are you sure?" I continued. "Positive," he assured me. Really? I wasn't convinced. I knew my son. "Yes, Dad, I'm fine." Even though he may have thought I was convinced, I was far from it. I smelt something wickedly wrong behind his short, polite answers. I was soon to discover just how correct was my sense of smell. "I have a new pet," Stanley suddenly announced. I was immediately suspicious. "Have you stolen Grania Marorny's rabbit again?" I snapped. I tried to blot out the memory of the incident with Grania Marorny's rabbit. 'Twas not so easily done. I still recall the details. Grania Marorny lived next door to us, and both she and her sister Kira had the most amazing collection of pets. Their back garden was like a mini zoo. They had every type of pet, ranging from a tiny white mouse to a python. That particular evening, Grania had knocked on our door in floods of tears. We're going to pause there.